Have you ever been the best player in the lobby, but you still lose the match? Maybe you have a huge soul lead. You're doing more damage than anybody else and have the most kills, but you still lose. So the question is, if you are playing well, why does it keep happening? I see this mindset a lot. I'm guilty of it myself. Everybody thinks if they are good enough, they should just win. Even the current rank 1 Parzelian loses some of his matches. The thing is, Deadlock and most team games just don't work like that. So I want to break down why good players still lose, and what actually matters if you want to start winning more consistently. I'm currently ranked Phantom 5. I have a 70% win rate in my last 200 games. I have a 64% overall win rate in around 600 games. And I have almost 1,000 hours in Deadlock. I've been playing since 2024. The first point is, being strong does not mean you're winning. I mean, you can be 5,000 or more souls ahead, top damage, winning your lane, and the game is still completely losable. That's because your lead does not matter unless it is turning into something on the map, whether that be running Urn, getting Guardians or Walkers, getting mid-boss, or vacuuming up the enemy jungle so that they just lose out on farm. In Deadlock, kills don't always win games, but the objectives do. If you're getting picks, but not taking any towers, not pressuring the map, not forcing anything to happen, you're kind of just delaying the game. Which is why low elo players have those 45, 50-minute games. That's what brings me into the next point. Not converting your lead. It's where most good players throw their games. They get a lead and they don't know how to convert it. And you might be thinking, Ametsu, what does that mean? How do I convert my lead into a win? Let's say you kill 2 people in mid. What should happen is you are either pressuring a walker, you're taking over the enemy jungle, or you're setting up to take mid. What usually happens instead is people back off. They get those 2 kills and they run into their own jungle, start clearing camps. Or you guys are just running around waiting for the next team fight to happen on blue lane. And just like that, your advantage is gone. And this is the part that most players just don't realize. If you're the one ahead, if you're 10k souls above, or you are a fed tempo character, it's your responsibility to force something with that lead. You can't just hope that the team does the right thing. Think about it like this. Every time you win a fight, you are creating a window. You're creating an opportunity. If enemy players are dead, there's less pressure on the map. There's more freedom for you to take something, to turn the map into your team's advantage. But that window only lasts a few seconds. And if you don't use it, it closes. Especially early game, where respawns are 20, 30 seconds long. A good way to think about this is every kill needs to turn into something. If it doesn't turn into anything, the kill just didn't matter as much as you think it will. So you can be the strongest player in the lobby, winning 1v1s, winning 1v2s, but if you're not getting any pressure on the map, you're not taking any objectives or farm off of those kills, you're not actually winning the game. You're just padding your stats. And what do I mean by the strongest player in the game? That is somebody who is coming out of lane with either multiple kills, 0 deaths, or they came out of lane with a huge soul lead. So let's say like 13k souls versus your 8. Anybody at that point in the game can hit tab, see that you are ahead by quite a bit, and you become public enemy number one. Their goal for the rest of that game will be countering you. So if you are playing an M1 hero, like I like to play Viper, I have had matches where I come out of lane with 7 or 8 kills. I am 15k and they are 7. By mid game, 3 or 4 of them have disarming hacks. They look for me, I'm the one initiating, and we lose because at that point in the game, I have become the win condition. Nobody else is as big of a threat as myself. This means that the entire enemy team's crowd control, their ults, their actives, they're not going to use it on anyone but you. So even if you're better, you're playing at a disadvantage every single fight. And this is why it feels like you're getting chain stunned and just can't play the game. So what do? If they're saving everything for you, going in first is the worst thing you can do. Don't initiate. You're basically giving them exactly what they want. Either let your team take the initial pressure and step in after all that stuff is used, or if you're playing a mobile hero, you can peek your head out, show them that you're there, make them aware of your presence and hope they waste stuff. Don't plan on fighting right then. Back off, push in with your team. Your goal in these fights isn't always to just instantly kill someone. Sometimes you want to take a fight just to waste abilities, waste those long important cooldowns. If they do that, the fight becomes 10 times easier for you and your team. You need to position like you are made out of glass, even if you're strong. If you're ahead, you can't always play like a tank if they're all focusing you, especially on a character like Viper or Haze. You need to play around vision, spacing, and angles. You need to show up late to a fight, come in from the flank, or wait for an opening after they use cooldowns on your teammates. And the higher you climb in the ladder, more damage isn't always the answer. You need to be able to survive. Resistances, some form of healing, anything that lets you stay alive longer, because the longer you stay alive, the more pressure it puts on the enemies to do something about you. Especially if you are the win condition. My next point is, bad teams are still a factor. Sometimes your team's just worse, especially with how matchmaking is currently. Part of Deadlock. You cannot control if your teammate goes 0-10 in lane, or constantly takes bad fights, or just doesn't rotate. But the mistake you made is focusing on what your team is doing instead of what you can control. You're the only player out of those 12 that you have any agency over. So, what do you do to actually win these games? I think it starts with a mindset shift. If being ahead isn't enough, how do you turn that into a win? The answer's pretty simple, but most people don't play like this. You don't win by being the strongest player. You win by being the most impactful player. What I mean by that is playing slower when you're ahead. When you're ahead, your instinct is to just keep pushing. Take all the fights, force more plays, continue snowballing what you had at the start. But if the enemy team is focusing you, that just gets you killed. So instead, you slow the game down. You let fights develop on their own without you. You let those important abilities get used first. And then you step in. You clean it up. You're not trying to prove you can win every single fight. You're trying to make sure you don't lose one. You being super fed only matters if the map is feeling it. If you're ahead and nothing is happening on the map, you're not really ahead. You're just stronger in a team fight. You're stronger in those 1v1s. and that's not always enough to win. So every time you get an advantage, you need to ask, what do we as a team get from this? How can I turn this into our advantage? That means you are taking objectives, you're taking farm, you are creating pressure on the map because it forces the enemy players to make bad decisions. They now have to invade your jungle in order to equalize their farm. They have to push lanes further into your territory where they're easily gankable just to get money. I'm sure all of us at some point have been super fed and we just take bad fights because we don't feel like we can be punished for it. But it's where a lot of good players throw. They feel strong, they feel confident, so they are taking every single fight, even though not every fight is worth taking. There's no objective, there's no pressure, there's no follow-up, and the fight doesn't matter. And worse, if you die, you give the enemy a mistake to play off of. You created a window for the opposing team. So instead of asking yourself, can I win this fight? You should be asking, does this matter? Is this worth taking? And if the entire enemy team is playing around you, your normal build might not work anymore. If you're getting chain stunned every fight, stacking more damage isn't gonna fix that. You need to adapt. You need more survivability. You need to be positioning better. You need to be more patient. Sometimes doing less damage, but staying alive longer has way more impact than you trading in a late game team fight. You need to understand that your role may have changed in that game. It's a part that most people don't adjust to. Once you're the strongest player in the lobby, your role changes. Early game, you're fighting to get ahead. But once you are ahead, you become the win condition. And that means your job isn't just to get kills anymore. It's to stay alive, draw pressure, and create space for your team. If 3 or 4 people are focused on you, your team should be able to do something with that. But that only works if you don't die. That's why being the best player in the lobby doesn't guarantee you a win. What matters is how you use your lead and how well you understand what that specific game actually needs. You start thinking like that, you'll win way more of these games. I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, especially if you made it all the way through. I'm planning on making more videos like this, probably at least once a month or so for now. Just breaking down gameplay, builds I have made or like to use, or how the game actually works. I'll also be streaming here on YouTube, probably around once a week for now. If you want to see this kind of stuff live, that's where it'll be. And honestly, I'd love to hear any feedback, whether it's about the video, the editing, the settings, or even just ideas for stuff you want to see me make. And if you want to stick around for more, feel free to subscribe. Adios, fellers.